It is everybody's favorite time of the year, especially Dave Meltzer, as we head over to the Tokyo Dome in Japan for Wrestle Kingdom 15 with Hiroki Goto themed colors in the logo. Anybody else think of that? I sure did. But hello, everybody. Welcome back to the Shoot Style Sauna. We're doing a predictions video for the first time in a little bit. We're talking about New Japan, Wrestle Kingdom 15. It is me, the King of Shoot Style, Stel, joined by Eric, the New Japan fan of the group. How you doing?
I'm doing good. How about you?
I'm doing good. I'm really excited. I'm also interested to see how they present Wrestle Kingdom this year, but we got a beefy card to go over. 2 nights, just like last year, full of title matches, exhibition matches, tag team matches, everything going on. So we're going to go through match by match, talk about it, give our predictions, and we'll have a list at the end showing all of our predictions for everybody to see.
And
so Eric,
but quickly, since last year for our Wrestle Kingdom card, we had tickets to SmackDown on the line. I think this year we should also have a prize.
I should figure that out.
So I kind of figured it out. I think the prize should be $100 worth of wrestling merch of that person's choice. I'll pay for it.
And Eric will pay.
I will pay for it.
Generosity. And it's the holiday season where we
yes,
are.
It is.
And for some people, we might get tax returns very soon. So we'll definitely have the money for it. I think it's a very good idea. We'll talk it over with the team, but I think that's a very good way to go. Anything else, Eric, before we continue?
Nope, that's it.
All right, so let's get going with night 1 on the pre-show, Eric. Okay, this is the Stardom match. I believe, is this night 2 or night 1?
This is night 1. They're both on night 1. I know there's some Stardom matches on night 2.
Night 2, yeah. I think there's at least 1 and 1, or they're both on this one night. I forget which one, but we'll fix it in editing if we need to. So it is the former champion of Stardom, Mayu Iwatani, teaming up with Tom Nakano, taking on Julia, and I think is it Suri? I want to say, I know the other one said Julia. My most intake with Stardom is listening to Jack the Jobber talk about Stardom on Wrestlers of the Week, and that's about it. So, Eric, I'll start with you. Who are you thinking about going for, and why?
Oh, goodness, I have no clue. I don't want to watch any Stardom.
Neither do I.
I guess probably the Iwatani and Nakano team. They just look more babyface.
Salad. I am also in agreement here. I'm also going for Team Iwatani. I think also because there is actually 2 matches here. Both of them are featuring like the same stable. It is Donna, I think it's called. Let me check the notes real quick. Donna Del Mondo. They are in 2 matches. That's Julia's team in this match. And there's a 6-woman tag, which we'll get to in just a minute. Another team. So I think what my thinking is here is that Iwatani lost the belt recently, I believe. So I think as the babyface, and like this is their one moment of the year, because what Stardom is all about, I think, they'll have the babyfaces get the win, especially if like the heel team in the 6-woman match gets the win, So I'm gonna go with Iwatani, so I'll put you down for them as well. This is the other Stardom match. This is the 6-woman match featuring Saya Katamani, Azumi, and Utami Hayashishita. I think it's how you say that. Taking on, this is Donna Del Donda, I believe. This is Maika, Natsupoi, and Hamika. Given what I just said, I think it's kind of obvious I'm gonna go for the heel team here, that being the team Donna. I just think if you're going to have 2 different matches with the same stable going on, I think you gotta at least should have them win 1 to make them look good and, get like the heel dynamic looking good going into the new year, and also like keep the babyfaces looking good in the tag match. So that's what I'm thinking with this one. I'm going to go with that. Eric, how about you?
I'm going to go with that same logic. And I also think, because they're not televised matches. They're really just for the few fans that are in attendance at the Tokyo Dome. So, I mean, it doesn't really matter. It's really just to get Stardom out there and get more eyes on that product.
Nice partnership,
Yeah.
They had a pretty good year from what I heard from like other people. I just don't watch a lot of it. And like I said, my most intake is from Jack the Jobber on Cultaholic when he talks about them, like briefly. And yeah, that's all I really know. But let's get on to the men's action if you want to get ahead on that, Eric. And let's talk about the next interesting match we got going on here. And yeah, happening on this is confirmed for night 1. We have basically it's pretty much like their take on the Royal Rumble. It's called the New Japan Ranbo, I believe.
Yes.
Where it's 22 men, and the final 4 will compete in a fatal 4-way match on night 2 for the new year of the what's it called?
The KOPW 2021
championship
trophy holder.
Trophy. It's a trophy to start, then it becomes a championship at the end of the year, but it's really brief. Last year's winner was Toru Yano, who remember pinned Okada at Summer Struggle in Jingu, beat Zack Sabre Jr. and somebody else in his defenses, and he ended the year as champion.
Yeah,
I'm sure
he just defeated Bad Luck Fale on New Japan Road to Tokyo Dome.
That's what it was. That was like a.
It was a body slam or last corner pad match.
So, like, do you have to take off all the corner pads to win?
Yeah, I think it was like whoever took off the last one wins, or whoever body slams the other person wins.
Of course, Yano would do that. It's what he does. What's he like?
Oh, it was crazy. Right. But yeah, Yano body slam Fale and retained.
Of course he did. Eric, what are you thinking about this one? You got any 4 people in mind?
I'm excited. Like, everyone loves kind of like a Royal Rumble. I thought so for night 2. I thought they would just have Yano go right away, but I guess not, because I guess he's one of the entrants. Possibly. We
don't know. There's no confirmation on who was in this match. We have a theory. This is a theory.
This is our possible list of entrants. You know, the first section there is all the New Japan talent that's in Japan, and then the little bottom is just the New Japan Strong talent that's in the USA and the LA dojo. But that's kind of like a very crazy theory.
Yeah, this is only implying, because I know Japan, I think, did something with their travel restrictions recently, considering some of like the real world implications going on there. So I don't know if we'll see the Strong folks, but let's stick to who we think could be in the match. Eric, what are you thinking for your 4 people who could do it?
My 4 for night 2, I do think it's going to be Tomohiro Ishii, Minoru Suzuki, because the king of pro wrestling. I think.
Yep, makes perfect sense.
Let me see. Possibly Sho, and it's either going to be Bushi or Goto.
Yeah, this is actually, there's like a lot of different names in there you can go with. So if you had to pick one, who would you go with, Goto or Bushi?
Probably Bushi, because they get the LIJ guy in there. Yeah,
you get representation. Oh, that's actually, so you get Suzuki-Gun, you get Chaos, and you also get 2 from Chaos. Actually, you get LIJ too. Nobody from Bullet Club's really in this match, right?
No, we got.
Chase Owens.
Yeah, Bad Luck Fale, Chase Owens, and Takahashi.
But like those people, I mean, you never know with this title. I mean, look what happened to Jingu, for God's sake.
Yeah, that's true.
So I have a very similar field. My field is Ishii. I'm gonna go for Goto. I'm also gonna go for Yano, the former champion, because it's also Toru Yano. You know how he can be sometimes. He might have to sanitize that title or the trophy for all we know, because he's got the spray. And I'm going for Suzuki as well. This is honestly probably the hardest thing to call on the entire card, because we have no idea who's even in the match. So, but this is just what I'm thinking. And I think for some of these names, like your Ishis of the world, Goto, Yano for just being there for a long time, being the comic relief, and Suzuki for being as well known as he is. These are just people that you feel like shouldn't be left off the card in Wrestle Kingdom,
Yeah, exactly.
So with no 8-man tag match, this could be like a good way to fill in for the time, All right, anything else to add?
That's it.
All right, let's head into the next match. We're heading to the main card now. So let's see what we got up next. Ooh, I'm really, really excited for this one. Up first, we have the #1 contendership match to determine who will face Taiji Ishimori on night 2 of Wrestle Kingdom. It is the Best of Super Juniors winner, Hiromu Takahashi, taking on the Super J Cup winner, El Phantasmo. I'll go first. I am going to play it, I think, relatively safe here and go for Hiromu Takahashi. I think someone who has had a long history with Ishimori, dating back to past Best Super Juniors tournaments. The final that they had, I think it was Dominion a couple years ago. It was a really good match. He lost the title to him back at Summer Struggle in Jingu. I think given this grand stage, the Tokyo Dome could be a good way to continue that rivalry, and we'll see what happens on night 2. Eric, over to you.
I'm going to have to agree with you. I am also choosing Hiromu Takahashi. Because it's also, I don't think they're definitely going to choose El Phantasmo and have Ishimori and Phantasmo going against each other. 2 Bullet Club members, 2
it's a Bullet Club Civil War. That's right.
It's just kind of like an obvious they're not going to go that way. And Takahashi is their guy in the junior heavyweight division.
He's the ace.
Yes.
He's the ace of that division.
In that division. So they're definitely going to have him go to night 2.
Exactly. So yeah, that's what we have to say for that one. Let's move on to the next one. Next up, it is the IWGP Heavyweight Tag Team Championship match. It is Dangerous Tekkers, that is Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi of Suzuki-Gun, taking on the Guerrillas of Destiny, who we haven't seen in a little while, making their comeback in the World Tag League, Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. This one is really, really interesting dynamic here, but Eric, let's head over to you. Who are you going for and why?
This is a weird matchup. You have 2 heel teams going against each other. 2 baddies.
Yeah, that's right.
So it's tough. It's tough to call. But I'm gonna have to go with the Guerrillas of Destiny finally getting a win in Tokyo Dome, getting the tag team titles back. Zack Sabre Jr. and Taichi are a great tag team, great heel tag team, but they've had the belts for most of the year. They already went through the Golden Aces, and then CSJ had that little rivalry with Yano back at Power Struggle.
That's right.
But I think God coming back, refocus. Tama got a nice shave, nice new haircut. They're coming in. They won World Tag League, which was always kind of a tough one for them. And then coming back and finally getting a win in Tokyo Dome, I think they got all their focus on that right now. So I'm going with God for the win.
All right, yeah, I'm also going for GOD here. Pretty much for the exact same reasons. You know, this is a team we haven't seen in a while because of travel restrictions. They were pretty much a dominant tag team before the pandemic happened, you know, feuding with Golden Ace for the belts. They lost to FinJuice in that surprising result, I thought, because we all thought, except for one of us, thought they were going to retain there. And, you know, they're coming back in a big way, and, you know, it's heel versus heel, you know, Suzuki-Gun versus Bullet Club, but I do think, like, the more established tag team in GOD should probably get the win here and, you know, get that big moment that they finally have been trying to get for years now. So yeah, I'm with you on that one. I agree once more. Next up, we have a what's the word here? The IWGP US Right to Challenge Certificate. It is the current holder, Kenta, taking on a fill-in for Juice Robinson. We should act because it's an eye injury. So we have Satoshi Kojima riding, a 25 match win streak?
25 to 26 match winning streak. He in their defense, he was facing young lions all through the World Tag League and Best of Super Juniors in the opening matches. But you know, a win's a win, I guess.
Yeah, that counts. So hey, if they were like higher up talent, like we wouldn't even need the G1. This guy should be challenging for the double titles for all we know. But Eric, who are you thinking for this one?
Obviously, I'm gonna go with Kenta. I think because it was a fill-in since Kojima's a fill-in for Juice, you got you know, plans do change. So I do think I did originally think Kenta was gonna retain over Juice, but I think definitely Kenta's gonna retain because they are gonna do Kenta versus Moxley. For sure.
At some point, yeah, at some point. I'm also in agreements as well because, like, you know, exactly what you said. This is just a fill-in for Juice, which sucks. He got injured because Juice had a really solid G1 for the most part. He beat Kenta in the G1 too, didn't he?
I believe so.
Yeah, he did. So that kind of made sense for this match to happen. And yeah, since we don't currently know what Mox's situation is, I believe he's still in the States, considering he was supposed to appear on Dynamite at time of recording, but considering all the stuff that happened with Brody Lee, they pushed back the stuff for New Year's Smash to the next week. So I think we won't see him probably next week on Dynamite. If it's going to be live or tape, we don't know. But we'll see what's going on with him. I'm sure in the next couple of months, considering travel restrictions. But yeah, I'm going to go with Kenta here. Another really safe pick. But yeah, nothing really much else to say aside from, like, I'm sorry, Kojima, you had a really good run, but I don't know if it'll go past the year. I'm sorry that your streak might have to go to sleep on this night.
You know, he's 50, and I'm just excited to see some machine gun chops in the Tokyo Dome.
The battle of the chops and the kicks. This will be a fun one to watch then. Oh yeah, I am so curious here. So this is a battle of this is like a mismatch of styles here. We have like the experienced, known for like to perform the Tokyo Dome so well in Hiroshi Tanahashi taking on someone who is making like their Tokyo Dome debut. Is that right, Eric?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, Great-O-Khan, who was a young lion, came back during the last nights of the G1 to help out Will Ospreay defeat Okada and form the Empire faction. And I am actually kind of conflicted here because I don't know, because like we've seen like the kind of downfall of Tanahashi in the G1 climax, but he's been teasing like the dark side of Tanahashi on like New Japan social media. So I don't know if I'm so conflicted on this one because like I feel like they might actually give Okada the win just to like give him some kind of momentum because, you know, he lost to Okada at Power Struggle, which, you know, I think it was kind of weird, but then again, it's Okada, and he needs some momentum after what happened in the G1. But I think I might go for the gamble here and go for Great-O-Khan. I just feel like they might do something here. It's bold. I might change my mind, like, come the actual, like, before the show happens, but I don't know. Just something, like, feels like it could happen. Eric, are you going to go for Tanahashi?
I am. I'm going safe. I think it's a safe bet. Go with the ace. It's January 4th. True. It's the Tokyo Dome.
Well, he lost last year.
He did, but that was on January 5th. That was on January 5th. They did make a point about that because, you know, Tanahashi was off because he was not performing on January 4th. He was on January 5th. It's a different, totally different thing.
That makes sense. Yeah. So maybe this year.
I think watching. Yeah. So and what they've been telling through Road to Tokyo Dome is, you know, Okan would attack him after the matches and then attack his knee. He's going after his knee, his bad knee. And but the last Road to Tokyo Dome we saw. Tanahashi did get a little bit of payback against Okan, but I think since Okan was attacking him through all the build-up, Tanahashi is going to come back because he's the ace, and he's going to come back and he's going to get the victory on this one.
Fair enough. That's a really good way to think about it. But will we see that dark side of Tanahashi? That's what I want to know about.
Yeah, and these Wrestle Kingdoms are always tough to predict because with like a WWE event, like you have Raw on Monday, SmackDown on Friday, every single week. So it's consistent and you can follow it right along. The last Road to Tokyo Dome was on December 23rd. Then there's like a week and a half or 2 weeks till the Tokyo Dome. So you don't know what's going to happen in that time.
All you really get is the social media stuff. That's really just recap of what happened at like the Road to Tokyo Dome shows. That's all it really is. That's what I've been seeing.
Yeah.
I don't really watch the live stuff happen, but I just read about it at least, aside from like the big shows that they do. That's what I usually do. But hey, it's a tricky one, but Eric has very good logic there. So I'll think about this one some more, but for now, I'll go with Okan. It's a gambit, but we'll see where I stand a couple days from now. Oh yeah, this is another special singles match. Sticking with the Empire, this time we have Will Ospreay, the cheeky man who betrayed his friend during the G1, taking on his former stablemate, Kazuchika Okada, in what I'm sure will be the co-main event of this night. I'll go first. I think this time I'll go safe, I think. I am going to go for Kazuchika Okada here, considering how this feud has been. He lost to him in the G1 when it all first started. The Empire has been slowly forming up, and he's been kind of losing in and out with those tag matches they do at the house shows or at the Road to Tokyo Dome shows. So I think to give him start Okada off in a new year after the interesting 2020 that he had, King of Pro Wrestling stuff, the G1 was in and out for him. He had a pretty solid G1 for the most part. Just sucks that it ended the way it did. But I think if you want to get him back into that main event scene, I think having Okada get a big win here, get some momentum going again, have him in for a big 2021, this is a good way to start it. Eric, so it's a tricky one. What are you thinking?
This is really, really tough because, it's tough to bet against the Rainmaker, but I am going to have to go with Will Ospreay. He just formed this brand new faction with Okan and Jeff Cobb, the Empire. He did finally get a win over Okada in the G1, but also the last time Okada was in a special singles match, a non-title match at Wrestle Kingdom, was against Jay White, and he lost. He has never won a non-title singles match at Wrestle Kingdom. So we have that history. Since 2012, I don't know.
He's mostly been
it's mostly title matches. It's mostly been title matches. So
exactly.
So it's maybe once or twice, but still, he hasn't won a singles match that's non-title. So I think that is going to hang over Okada's head. And just to build up Will Ospreay as a better heel, he's got to get the win over Okada if they're really going to back him.
They're going to back him for maybe a really good year, like a New Japan Cup run or a big G1 run in the next fall. We'll have to see because he had a good G1, he just didn't win the block at the end. But still, you want to continue that push into the main heavyweight division because he's been trying to do that for the past year. Getting a big win here really established himself as the next big heel in the division outside anybody in Bullet Club.
Yeah, but so it's they have so much they can do with Ospreay after the win against Okada. But it's what does Okada do after that? Mm-hmm. He's 6-time IWGP heavyweight champion or more.
It's 6 or 7. He had that mammoth 720-day reign before he lost to Omega. He's been in and out of the title scene from there. Remember, he dyed his hair red after that title loss and had balloons for a while, which was interesting.
Weird.
And then he had a redemption arc in 2019 when the title back in the G1 Supercard. Held that till last year's Wrestle Kingdom, lost to Naito, and had, as we said, a very interesting and peculiar 2020, and has kind of been more like an upper mid-card guy, which after all these years, you wouldn't think that with him. Mm-hmm. But now we're in a situation where it's kind of continuing, but will it still be 2021? Will we see him go back to the main event scene and maybe feud with whoever is champion coming out of this show, or just do another main event scene feud like this, maybe? It's hard to say, but... I mean,
if we're going to crazy theory, he could be traveling somewhere else because what else does he have to prove in New Japan?
Yeah, because also that reminds me too, Ospreay is the Rev Pro champion too, and this is a non-title match we should add. It just shows he doesn't really want that belt at all because what else can Okada do? He didn't want to be a double champion clearly last year. Mm-hmm. I'm sure he probably wouldn't have cared for that belt had he won. So it is the theory that Eric I think talked about this in the podcast, would we see Okada go to an American promotion like AEW?
Exactly. He already has those relationships with those people in there, and I think that would just be a huge thing for AEW.
It'd be a huge moment, especially since now Omega is the champion there. Mm-hmm. You can really show stateside people, this is what these two can do in a singles capacity. I mean, this would be probably months from now,
Absolutely.
Way super down the line. Yeah, exactly.
But if you're gonna keep Okada in New Japan, I guess he still takes a loss to Ospreay and then could come back in the New Japan Cup in the spring.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair, because we'll see it back in March as it usually is. So, yeah, tough match. I got nothing else to really say. Anything else to add on this one?
Me neither.
Yeah, probably the hardest match on night one to call, but we will see what happens very, very soon.
I don't know. Let's look at our next match.
Oh, yeah, it's been an interesting build for this one. This is the main event of night one of Wrestle Kingdom 15. Almost at 14 there. It is the double champion, Tetsuya Naito, taking on the winner of the G1 Climax, but however, he does not have the certificate anymore. We will get to that in just a moment. It is Kota Ibushi, what we thought would be the night 2 main event, But considering what happened to Ibushi on the road to Tokyo Dome, he lost his certificate to Jay White, who was challenging the winner of this match on night 2. And it's led to a lot of speculation of what's going to happen here, but I think I have an idea. And I'll go first. I'm going to go for Kota Ibushi. Because of how it's been the past couple of years, he's pledged his allegiance to New Japan. He didn't leave with Kenny Omega and the Bucks to go form AEW. He stayed. He re-signed. He's been staying here, put on great matches with people. He won the G1 last year, but came up short against Okada in that great match. Then this year, he wins again, but then he loses to Jay White in heart-crushing fashion, being cheated out of the briefcase, basically. And now here he is. Naito boycotted that and wanted to face him anyway. And I just think that Ibushi, if they're going to make this his moment, I think now is the time. Because if he loses this, it's just going to be a really bad year again, unless until G1 or the New Japan Cup rolls around. I just think if you want to pull the trigger on Ibushi in the main event, give him that feel-good title win, this would be it. And then have him go into night 2, and we'll get to that later on. But if not, then I'm going to feel really bad for the guy. Eric, what are you thinking?
I have 2 theories, or I think I know what's going to happen. But my pick for this match is the Golden Star, Kota Ibushi, to win the double belts and go on to night 2. But if somehow Naito does pull the win out, I don't think he's going to come out a night 2 with the belts.
So if Naito wins, you just think he's not going to do it?
I know Naito is going to come out, is not going to have the belts at New Year's. No matter
what.
New Year's Dash, he will
no matter
not
what
have
happens.
the belts. Yes.
Yeah, because at this point, Naito's had the belts for essentially a year, aside from that a month period where he didn't have them with the whole Evil feud, but he got them back about a month later, so it kind of worked out. It's been 11 months, basically. Mm-hmm. It sucks that some of his reign was paused because of the pandemic, but unfortunately they came back. He was able to do most of it. But, this is what he wanted, and I'm sure he was planning to drop the belts anyway with how Gato's booking was set up. Mm-hmm. But what they changed plans with the whole winner of the G1 Climax thing. I do think, that Ibushi, finally, after all this time, should get at least one moment to hold those belts aloft, Yeah.
And Kota Ibushi, he's not that young. He's 38.
He's 39.
38 to 39.
He's getting there.
He's almost 40. He doesn't look it, but he's getting there.
He's 27. Look at him.
But I think Naito's reign has been successful for what it was. He finally won in the Tokyo Dome. He was getting cheered in Osaka, which he was hated in Osaka until this year. And then, had that thing with Evil, and then won him back at Jingu, but then had a good end of the year. And
good G1, defended the belts.
Yeah, absolutely. But I think it's Kota Ibushi's time.
This has to be, because how much time he has left too, and who knows what they'll have planned coming out of this show. So we'll see what happens. I got nothing else to add, but this should be a really good main event at the very least.
Oh, absolutely.
Hope no one dies, considering
they're gonna drop each other on their head and their necks
on the apron. That's
scary.
That reminds me of the G1
so
Supercard.
Scary.
Yeah, this is gonna be maybe hard to watch. But yeah, that's it for night 1. So let's head over to night 2, where there's some even more interesting matches happening. Here we are. So if our theories are correct, we have 2 different matches set up here. This is the 4-way match set up from the New Japan Ranbo on the pre-show of night 1. Our 4 winners from both our sides will clash to determine the temporary, whatever the word is, for the King of Pro Wrestling trophy. Because remember, at the end of the year, whoever has that becomes the champion. They're crowned, blah, blah, blah. It's really weird, and I don't know if he'll have a stipulation either, but it's a 4-way match. These are incredibly rare in New Japan. Eric, with your 4, who do you think will come out on top?
So I picked, it was Ishii, Bushi, Suzuki, and Goto. Mm-hmm. And I think the King of Pro Wrestling, Minoru Suzuki, is going to come out and be KOPW 2021 and to start out with the year with that.
Pretty good. It makes sense of his nickname and everything. And who knows how much more longer he'll go for. He's in his 50s, but he still looks great,
Yeah, absolutely. He moves around great. It doesn't wear knee pads or any Calisio tape, so it's jeez.
Yeah, he just goes out there raw and does it. So yeah, my group, it was Tomohiro Ishii, Hiroki Goto, Yano, and Suzuki. I think I'm going to agree here and go for Suzuki as well, just for the namesake, give him that big win in the Tokyo Dome. Because he didn't have a match last year either. What was it?
He came
a singles match.
He came out was face to face with Moxley after the.
That was it.
Yeah.
And they had that 8-man tag, but he wasn't in a one-on-one match at Wrestle Kingdom last year. When was his last one? Was it 2019?
Oh goodness, I don't know.
It had to be a while, but I think to give him a nice win, big stage, who knows how much longer he's going to go for? Probably forever, knowing Suzuki. I think giving him this good win after he had a pretty good year last year would be a nice way to at least kick it off. I know he's really hateable and stuff like that. You know, everybody likes Minoru Suzuki. I'm going to go for him as well in this match. And next up on night 2, it is the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Tag Team titles, and it is El Desperado and Yoshinobu Kanemaru of Suzuki-Gun, the champions, taking on Taguchi Japan, but they are called 8-1 in this case, and it is the coach, Ryosuke Taguchi, and Master Wato. A very interesting team, but I know Wato was recruiting to Taguchi Japan back in the fall. Eric, what do you think of this one?
I'm probably going to go with Suzuki-Gun, El Desperado, and Kanemaru. You know, Kanemaru is just getting back from that knee injury that took him out of the Best of Super Juniors, but then Desperado is also coming off a great, not only just a great 2020, but also that fantastic Best of Super Juniors final match with Takahashi. And so I think he's going to ride that momentum into this match. And I just don't think Master Wato is ready. And no offense to Taguchi, but I think just Wato is just too new and just doesn't have that much behind him. Yeah.
Yeah. I'm in agreement too. I've also gone for Suzuki-Gun here. So I'm kind of in the same way. You know, Desperado just had that amazing 2020. He was my honorable mention for Breakout Star of the Year in the Shooties Awards, and he had the great Best of Super Juniors run, as you just mentioned. So yeah, I think it's safe. You know, Kanemaru is coming back from injury, and yeah, I'm going to go for them too. As much as I like Taguchi, you know, his match last year for Bonky 3K as the Mega Coaches was so much fun, but they didn't win that match in the end. But I think here I'm going to share the opinion. You know, I just don't think it's the right time to have the belts lost to this really interesting pairing, but maybe if they develop Wato some more, you know, maybe have him develop in the ring some more training and like a little more exposure to crowds and stuff like that, I think it'll come eventually. Just not on this night though. Good for him getting in the Tokyo Dome though. Another big one. This is another title match. This is a singles match for the Never Openweight Championship. So basically this title works for non-viewers is that anybody in New Japan can challenge for it, whether they're heavyweight or junior. In this case, it is Shingo Takagi, the Dragon, taking on Jeff Cobb of the recently formed Empire stable. Eric, back to you. What are you thinking for this one?
This is going to be a hard-hitting match. Big slams, big hits. Oof.
G1 rematch too. That Cobb won, I believe.
I think, yes, he did. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going with Jeff Cobb to become the new Never Openweight champion over Takagi. I mean, Shingo won the belt from Goto last year. Early on, I can't remember when.
He lost it to Suzuki at Jingu, then he won it back in Power Struggle.
And I think he's had a great one with the Never belt, but I think to get, you know, I think they're putting a lot of stock into Jeff Cobb. He did just sign with them exclusively, and you know, to get the Empire even more momentum behind them. I think 2 out of 3 wins for Wrestle Kingdom is going to be really good for the
winning
Empire.
Average too.
So I'm going with Jeff Cobb. Yes.
Yeah, this one, thinking about this one some more, now you put in perspective what he's done. I originally went for Shingo Takagi, but I think I'm going to maybe play it a little bit more safe here and go over to Jeff Cobb here for pretty much the same reasons. You know, this guy was signed to do stuff for New Japan back in the fall it was. Had a pretty good G1 where I got a lot of predictions wrong for him, specifically. Did not have a good time predicting him for the G1. But still, he had a really good showing, and it's staying strong, and he has some more heat behind him, joining the Empire turning heel. And I think, yeah, Shingo, I think after this, he might be moving up the card if he loses this, because, you know, he can challenge for maybe double titles at some point this year. Maybe he can go for, if we get the US title situation figured out, he can go for the US title at some point. Because I do think that Shingo is primed for like a big push, considering that he had a really good 2020, I thought, and like he's always been like seen as like this really, really hyped up guy with a lot of potential. And I think giving him, well, freeing him of the Never title and having him go into higher profile stuff in New Japan, this could be the start of that. Another special match.
Man.
This is a G1 B Block rematch, and these two also met in the New Japan Cup. They've traded wins in both of those bouts. And here we are once more in the Tokyo Dome, former tag team partners, and a lot of story with these two. It is SANADA of LIJ taking on Evil of the Bullet Club. I'm going to go first. I have gone for Evil. This has gone really back and forth, I will say, because I do think if you're going to keep Evil as like this big, like upper mid-card main event heel, I think taking care of SANADA here and getting some heat behind him again to start off the year would be good. However, there's also the fact that I've been hearing stuff about SANADA's contract situation. I don't know when his contract expires, but there's been saying that, you know, Triple H might give him a phone call at some point down the line. If that's true, it could happen here. Eric, what about you?
Oh, you just totally threw me for a loop. I had no idea about that. Jeez,
I don't know if it's true though. That's I know he likes him from what I've heard, but I don't know if it's gonna happen.
Oh man. Well, I mean, If he does go to WWE, I'm worried he's gonna be another Shinsuke because I don't think he speaks.
Yeah.
He
Plus,
does.
like he doesn't. Plus, he's not like he doesn't have as much charisma as Nakamura did.
Yeah,
either.
and he doesn't.
He's so calm and collected.
Doesn't speak English.
Yeah.
Okay, so anyway, back. Let's focus about Wrestle Kingdom. So, I have a couple theories about this match. So this is a match that I've been excited to see since Evil defected to Bullet Club. We did see it in the G1, but I don't think we really got satisfied with it. Didn't get.
It was very like there were a lot of run-ins.
Yeah, we didn't get what we wanted out of it emotionally. So,
It's all right.
So, but through this whole thing, you know, SANADA was still the cold skull. He was still calm and collected until about the end of World Tag League. That's when he was starting to, you know, come unhinged and show emotion. And like, this is kind of what we've been wanting to see from SANADA, and to just to like get that like emotion out and just like beat the hell out of Evil for turning on him, and you know, because they're longtime tag team partners, have a lot of history together in the Tokyo Dome.
Yep, they've won tag titles in there, I believe.
Yes. So if SANADA does win, then I think this is a new new SANADA we're gonna see. This is not the cold skull no more. He's gonna be, you know, show a lot more intensity and emotion in his matches. But if also along with that, SANADA could get, you know, little overzealous, and then Evil can just like, you know, get the low blow or something, and then just roll him out.
Togo do something.
Yeah, he won't be focused. He'll be too distracted with his emotions. So it's really tough to call because you can go so many different ways. But I'm actually going to go with SANADA.
Okay, SANADA.
Lock it in. I think after his performance in the G1 final, and then there was the New Japan Cup, not this year, but the year before that against Okada. I think they have a lot behind him. They will invest him and push him up the card. And I think that if he does win, it's going to be a new character turn for him, and it's going to be a lot of great things in the future for SANADA.
Okay, valid explanation. We also remember this is also team predictions as well. This match also has Tim going for SANADA as of right now, but I have yet to get Sam and Schmidt's picks as well. So yeah, a lot of these matches are divided down the middle, but like Eric said, this is a very tough one that can go many different ways. These happen at New Japan shows, especially Wrestle Kingdom this year and last year. We've had some really hard ones to pick. We'll see what happens. I'm interested to see what they do in the Tokyo Dome, considering, you know, these two's histories. I'm really excited to see what they'll do.
Yeah, me too.
Alrighty, so in our books, this is Taiji Ishimori defending against Hiromu Takahashi for the IWGP Juniors Heavyweight title. These two no stranger to one another if it's going to be Takahashi in this case. Eric, you first with this one.
Well, I mean, there's little Takahashi right here.
Oh yeah,
the graphic there, so that's nice.
So it's teaser.
So I think if, you know, Takahashi does make it, then he will dethrone Ishimori as the junior heavyweight champion and win the junior heavyweight title at Wrestle Kingdom 2 years in a row, especially after losing it to Ishimori at Jingu Stadium, and then he's going through the Best of Super Juniors, and then Ishimori was upset that Takahashi had more main events in the Best of Super Juniors rather than the junior heavyweight champion. Mm-hmm. So I think Takahashi's going to prove that that's why there was a reason he was in the main events, and he's going to win the junior heavyweight championship again.
Makes sense, yeah. I'm also in agreement here. I'm also going for Takahashi for very similar reasons. You know, he won it in the Tokyo Dome last year in that amazing match with Will Ospreay. Here we are again. He could do it all again. Like I said, I'm excited to see what these two do in the Tokyo Dome environment, because we know how well these two work together. Their Best Super Junior final from a couple of years ago, Jingu. So these two know each other incredibly well. It's going to be a really fun, high-flying match with a lot of striking too, I imagine. But whew, it is going to be... It could steal the show for all I know, too. This could be a really good match, early match of your contender. And this is our main event. So, in both our books, this is Ibushi, the new double champion, taking on the man who took his briefcase away from him back at Power Struggle. It's the Switchblade, neighborhood bad boy, Jay White. This is Jay White's, I think, first main event at the Tokyo Dome?
Correct, yes.
Yep, this will be his first main event. So, Eric, again, what is the end of Wrestle Kingdom going to be? Is it going to be a happy ending, or is it going to be a sad ending?
I think if Naito wins, it's going to be a sad ending. If Naito wins, Jay White is walking out of Wrestle Kingdom with the double belts, for sure.
I agree.
But since we both...
That is Tim's prediction. He does have that written down. He picked Naito, and he's going for Jay White on night 2.
Oh, man. Oh, yep. Tim. So, for my prediction, I picked Ibushi to win against Naito, and I'm picking him to defeat Jay White on night 2 because they are not going to have Ibushi go through all of this crap, walk through all this crap, and then have a one-day reign and lose it in his first defense.
I'd feel so terrible for him after all that work.
Yeah, so Ibushi is going to come in, take the belts from his longtime rival Naito, and then get revenge on Jay White from Power Struggle.
Yeah, I am in agreement there. I've also picked Kota Ibushi to retain for the exact same reasons. You know, this guy, as like I said in the first prediction with Naito, he's just done so much since pledging his allegiance to New Japan. And I think capping it all off with this revenge win against Jay White and giving him like that feel-good moment to end the show. Hopefully no one jumps him like what happened to Naito last year. I hope not, considering what he's had to go through. But yeah, I do think Ibushi will retain. The only thing that could happen if it was Naito defending is that it could be your theory, Eric, where Evil comes down to help Jay White, but he's actually a spy and goes back to LIJ.
That's true.
But that's only if Naito is there. If Ibushi, it wouldn't make any sense.
That's like the craziest theory, though. That's the crazy. Yeah.
But if you like us, because we don't, all the backstage stuff behind it, because Jay White wasn't around, blah, blah, blah. All right, we got to do something. All right, Evil, do that. And then look what happened. But yeah, I'm pretty confident in thinking that as long as Ibushi gets the win on night one, we will see him finally become the capital G God in wrestling as he wanted to last year, but he didn't do it. But this year, he can right all the wrongs. And if he loses this, I swear to God, it's going to be the third time the charm next year when he does it again against somebody else. But that's my prediction for that, and that caps off Wrestle Kingdom 15 predictions. We'll flash a graphic up at the end of the video, right, recapping all of our predictions for both nights. And if you agree with our predictions or not, sound off in the comments below. Before we go, Eric, anything else to plug?
Like this video, subscribe to our YouTube channel, and go like us on Facebook at the Shoot Style Sauna on Facebook.
Of course, yep. Same here. Follow us on Facebook, and also like the page, subscribe on YouTube, enable notifications if you really want, and be sure to check out our other videos, especially my top 10 matches of 2020 list that should be out by the time this goes out. If not, I'll be sure to post that in the coming days following this. But aside from that, I am Stel from the Shoot Style Sauna, joined by Eric. Be safe, be well, and we'll see you all very, very soon. Thank you for watching, everybody.